Vanakkam and welcome to our presentation on Nritta in Bharathanatyam, exploring Adavus, Jathis and Korvais. In this presentation, we will talk a little bit about what is Nritta, what it involves, and how we add color and flavor to those Nritta segments in Bharathanatyam. So let us begin and look at what is Nritta. Nritta is that part of Bharathanatyam that is pure dance. It is simply enjoyed for its aesthetic value and it doesn't convey any meaning or emotional content. The dancer executes coordinated movements of the body within the rhythmic structure of the musical composition. So rhythm is a fundamental aspect of Nritta. It involves the whole body moving in a synchronized, structured and well-defined manner to rhythm. Nritta consists of Adavus. Adavus are the basic building blocks of Bharathanatyam, fundamental steps learned. The Adavus that you learn in Bharathanatyam will increase in complexity and incorporate more complex body movements. So, for instance, the first chapter or set of Adavus learned in Bharathanatyam are called THALAM. Thattu in Tamil means to strike and Adavu in Tamil means steps. So, THALAM basically involves the student sitting in the most commonly seen position in Bharathanatyam known as Aremandi or the half squat position, and the students strike their feet within the rhythm within a very simple rhythm cycle of 8 beats. A couple of the Thattadavus are set in 6 beats. So these are very common, simple rhythm structures. So students learn to understand basic rhythm. And most importantly, in Thattadavu, they learn to understand their body and to control and balance their body weight while maintaining an upright posture in the Aramandi position while they start to move their feet. So let us look at a couple of the Thattadavu steps right now. So what you just saw was a demonstration of the first and the seventh Thattadavu, which looks like a basic step, but as I said, students learn to understand their body, they develop strength in their legs and build stamina and develop accurate posture and balance. They also learn to understand rhythm. As you saw with that seventh Thattadavu step, it fits in an 8-beat cycle with the 8th beat being a gap where no striking or no movement happens. So that gap is what we call a Korvai in Indian music and in Bharathanatyam. So let us show you another way of doing the same 7th Thattadavu step playing with that Korvai a little bit, where we can move that Korvai to a different spot in the rhythm cycle. So let us have a look at that now.
Talang gutak katik gutak katik tum tei tei tak ta Tei, tei, ta, ta. Dik, tei, tam, tei, tei, ta, ta. Tei, tei, tam, tei, tei, ta, ta. Dik, tei, tam.
So as you saw in that, we can add our creative ideas, particularly with the rhythm, within the existing Adavus. So let us look at the next set of Adavus that students often learn, which is called the Adavus. Here the students begin extending their legs to the sides, to the fronts, and in different positions, and use different mandalas. They also now incorporate arm movements with hastas or hand gestures. So in the Natadava series, the hand gestures of Patakam, Tripatakam, Kadakamukham and Alapadmam are commonly used. So this is where you start to see a bit of the aesthetic value in the Adavus, with the hand gestures and the arm movements being symmetrical and coordinated, and very importantly, eye movements are also incorporated in line with how the arms move. So let us look at now a demonstration of the first and the fifth Natadavu.
Talang gutakati gutakatatim ginatum tayum ta tayum ta ha tayum ta tayum ta ha tayum 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 ta ha tayum tarikata tadim ginatum tayum ta tayum ta ha tayum ta tayum ta ha kita tayum ta tayum ta ha kita tayum ta tayum ta ha tayum 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 ginatum.
So as you saw in that demonstration of the Natadava steps, as well as in the Tattadava steps, the dancer is in the Aramani position, but in one position, is stationary in the same position. Whereas the next chapter, the students now learn to incorporate spatial movements as well. So this kind of logical progression of learning Adavus and the structural progression of the Adavus was set back in the 19th century by the Tanjore Quartet or Tanjore Quartet. Now, so far, we've demonstrated some Adavus for you in the most common 8-beat cycle. There are some Adavus, as I mentioned earlier, maybe are traditionally taught in the 6-beat cycle also. Now, what we're going to now demonstrate to you is how we can do all of these basic Adavus as they are traditionally taught, but can be practiced in various other rhythm patterns as well, particularly from the Panjanade, which we know as the 5 common rhythm sequences in Bharathanatyam, but it's only taught, normally only taught within the 30-Mettadavu, which is a more of a footwork step where students learn the Panjanade, which is the Chathusram in 4 beats, Tisram 3, Misram 7, Kandam 5 and Sankeernam is 9 beats. So these 5 rhythm variations are taught only through the Thatti-metta Adavu normally, where because it's only a footwork step. And later when you learn songs, items of a repertoire, where students learn the other aspect of Bharatanatyam or Nritta, where expressive dance comes in, the Thatti-metta Adavu is incorporated at the end of a Abhinaya sequence, such as in a Varnam. So it adds that aesthetic value, and it also tells the audience that the dancer has just completed that Abhinaya segment and is now going to progress to a Jathi or some kind of a Nritta segment by doing that Thatti-metta in an item like Varna. So that's why they learn the Thatti-metta with only footwork, and generally it could be in any of those 5 rhythm variations. But what we like to do is to incorporate the Panjanade with any of those Adavus. So when we teach our students, particularly once they've learned all the basic steps, more for the intermediate students, we get them to practice their Adavus in different rhythm patterns, such as, say the KUTHTHADAVU or Adavu can be done in a Kanda Jathi or Mishram pattern or Sankeenna. So let us now have a look at some variations to Adavus using some of these other rhythm patterns from the Panjanade. Okay? So learning to practice the Adavus in different rhythms like that enables students to become more proficient in understanding rhythm and being able to perform Nritta items easily. We can also use creativity in Adavus using non-traditional combinations of the existing Adavus. So let me show you one example of how we do this. This is only a simple example. How you combine Adavus depends on the aesthetic appeal of the combination and is open to the creativity of the dancer or choreographer. So we had a look at some Adavus and how we can add a bit of creativity to the Adavus. This is important as we start to look at those items in Bharatanatyam that involve Nritta. So what are some Nritta items in Bharatanatyam? Alaripus, Jathishwarams, they both completely Nritta based items. Tilanas are also predominantly Nritta based, and then there's Varnam. Varnam is the central piece in a Bharatanatyam repertoire that involves both Nritta as well as the other aspect of Bharatanatyam called Nritta that involves expressive dance. So some of these Nritta items have what we call Jathis and Korvais. So what are Jathis and Korvais? Jathis and Korvais are sequences of Adavus that are stringed together to fit within the set rhythm cycle. Now, Korvais are embedded within the musical notes of the song, whereas Jathis involve the recitation of the solkattu or the syllables by the teacher or Natvana. So I will now perform a segment of a Jathishwaram. I'll perform the Jathi and one of the Korvais in that Jathishwaram. This Jathishwaram has been composed by Suresh in a rare and challenging THALAM, the SANKEERNA CHAPU THALAM. So let us have a look at this, the Jathi and one of the Korvais in the in this Jathishwaram. I will now ask Suresh to explain how he has set permutations within this Jathi and Korvai.
I am going to recite Sankeerna CHAPU JATHISWARAM Jathi, THALAM Sankeerna CHAPU, and Jathi like this. Tak, ting, mi, tak, ta, ti, ta. Talang, kutum, tadim, ginnatum, jum, tak, jum, tadikita, takata, tak, jum, takatiku, katakadrigitum, jum, tak, jum, tadikita, takatai, tatakata, jum, takatiku, katakadrigitum, jum. Tak jum tarikita takata jum tak jum tarikita takatai jum tak jum tarikita taka katakadrigitum jum tak jum tarikita taka katakadrigitum jum tak jum tarikita taka katakadrigitum. So Jathi like this, but the Adavu but little bit different. For example, the Jathi Adavu tayyum tat tayyum taha tay 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 yum tat tayyum taha tay tay tai hat tay hi ta tay ta dit tay ta tay hat tay hi ta tay ta dit tay ta tay hat tay hi dit tay hat tay hi dit tay ta dit tay. Let me explain the calculation of the Jathi. So Jathi calculation like this. So tayyum tat tayyum taha tay tay. That's mean total 18 matras. So takkita takka dimmi takka junnu tay tay. See 18 matras. So 2 4 1 8 and last 1 4. So total 18 matras. The second variation takka dimmi takka junnu takka takkita taiga taihi ta dik ta. So that means taiga taihi is 4. So that means 2 taiga taihi 2 4. Then ta ta 1 pause and dik ta 1 pause. So 2 4 2 5. So ta ta after 1 pause. So ta ta is 5. So 2 4 2 5 total 18 matras. The third Uttarangam, so Uttarangam part, taiga taihi diditai. So taiga taihi is 4, so 2 4 and diditai means 2, so total 10. So we need to do right and left. So taiga taihi diditai, taiga taihi diditai. So 10 plus 10, 20. Then after the last one, takka dimmi takkita tai diditai. So takka dimmi takkita. Then after this, tai diditai means 9. So that means tai diditai means 3. So 3 into 3, 9. So total 16 matra. So now, so we got already 10. Taiga taihi diditai 10. Taiga taihi diditai 10. So 10 plus 10, 20. Then 20 plus 16, 36. So total 36 matra. So 36 means 4 avartanam. I'm recite again. So taiga taihi taiga taihi tititai taiga taihi taiga taihi tititai takka dimmi takkita taidititai taidititai taidititai. So takka dimmi takka jonnu takka dimmi takka jonnu takka dimmi takkita takkita dikkita tomkita. Now Jathishwaram Korvai. This Korvai is not synchronized with the thalam, little bit tricky and also very little bit hard to put the natvangam as well. It's a little bit challenging. So let me explain the Korvai. Ta ki ta ta ka dimmi 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 taiga taihi taiga taihi tai 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 ta ki ta ta ka dimmi takkita takka dimmi takkita takka dimmi takkita takka dimmi taiga taihi taiga taihi tai 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 dit dit tai 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 dit dit tai 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 dit dit tai 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 dit tai.
So hope you enjoyed that presentation of the Jathishwaram Korvai and Jathi. To conclude our lecture demonstration today, we will show you an excerpt from our residency as part of our dance company with Critical Path in Sydney, where we worked on the choreography of a Trikala Jathi. Trikala Jathis are the first Jathis in a Varnam and are set to 3 speeds. And so they're called Trikala Jathi. This particular Trikala Jathi is in Adi Thalam, has been composed by Suresh, but the Adavu patterns, we've incorporated some contemporary novel ideas. So hope you enjoy this excerpt of the Trikala Jathi, and following this you can watch some of our students' performances from our last annual showcase. Hope you enjoyed that as well, and thank you for joining us today on this presentation. Thank you.
Ta ri ta tan na ta ri ta na jam ta ri ta na ta ri ta tan na jam ta ri ta tan na ta jo nu ta di mi ta kum ta ri ki ta ka jam ta ri ta tan na ta ri ta na jam ta ri ta na ta ri ta tan na jam ta ri ta tan na ta jonu ta dimmi ta kum ta ri ki ta ka jam ta ri ta tan na ta ri ta na jam ta ri ta na தரித்த தன்ன ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன தன்ன த ஜொன்னு ஜொன்னு த திம்மி திம்மி தத கும் த ரி த கும் த டி கிட்ட தக்க ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன த ரி தன்ன ஜம் த ரி த ந தரித்த தன்ன ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன தன்ன த ஜொன்னு ஜொன்னு த திம்மி திம்மி த தக்கும் த டி தக்கும் த டி கிட்ட தக்க ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன த ரி தன்ன ஜம் த ரி த ந தரித்த தன்ன ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன தன்ன த ஜொன்னு ஜொன்னு த திம்மி திம்மி த தக்கும் தரி தக்கும் தரி கிட்ட தக்க ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன த ரி தன்ன ஜம் த ரி த ந தரித்த தன்ன ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன தன்ன த ஜொன்னு ஜொன்னு த திம்மி திம்மி த தக்கும் தரி கிட்ட தக்க ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன த ரி தன்ன ஜம் த ரி த ந தரித்த தன்ன ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன தன்ன த ஜொன்னு ஜொன்னு த திம்மி திம்மி த தக்கும் தரி கிட்ட தக்க ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன த ரி தன்ன த ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன த ரி தன்ன தை தரி கிட்ட தக்க ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன த ரி தன்ன த ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன த ரி தன்ன தை தக்கும் தரி கிட்ட தக்க ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன த ரி தன்ன தரித்த தன்ன தன்ன த ஜொன்னு ஜொன்னு த திம்மி ஜம் தரித்த தன்ன த ந ஜொன்னு தரித்த தன்ன தரித்த தன்ன த ஜொன்னு த திம்மி த ஜம் தரித்த த ஜம் ஜம் தரித்த தை தரித்த தை ஜம் தரித்த த ஜம் ஜம் தரித்த தை தரித்த தன்ன த ஜொன்னு தரித்த ந ஜொன்னு ஜம் தரித்த ஜம் தரித்த ஜம் தரித்த திங்கிண் ந தும் கிட்ட த க த திங்கிண் ந தும் ஜம் தரித்த ஜம் தரித்த ஜம் தரித்த திங்கிண் ந தும் கிட்ட தக்க த திங்கிண் ந தும் கிட்ட தக்க த திங்கிண் ந தும் ஜம் தரித்த ஜம் தரித்த ஜம் தரித்த திங்கிண் ந தும் கிட்ட தக்க தரி கிட்ட தும் கிட்ட தக்க தரி கிட்ட தும் கிட்ட தக்க தரி கிட்ட தும் தா